I have a similar story about just someone coming to visit after I got hurt. After I got hurt at Bob's.
Yeah.
I broke my pelvis and got KO'd, broke my thumb, whatever.
Yeah.
Went home I went home. I got to go home that night. So the next day he comes over to check on me. He's like, "You want to see the footage?"
Riley, you did it, and then Riley was like, "Yeah." I think I remember something like that. Yeah.
Riley wanted to watch it.
And then he's like, "Yeah." And then you're like, "All right." Then we...
Wait, did you watch it?
I didn't want to watch it, but yeah.
But you did, because you hate watching slams.
Yeah. I mean, but it was so life-threatening. And I was there, and I was alive, and I was like, "All right, let's see it."
How'd you feel after you watched it? Are you happy you watched it?
No, I don't particularly enjoy that one.
Yeah, that's fair.
No. I see it, though. I see that there are certain elements of it where I got lucky.
Oh, yeah?
Because I ended up kind of going over the edge. Mm-hmm. So instead of just hitting the flat, I kind of caught...
In between the mini ramp
and the mini ramp. So I kind of caught a ledge, and I was able to sort of catch my hands on it. Oh. Not that it was better, but there was something about it that felt like I got away with it. Huh. But the first, I mean, I don't want to dwell on that, but I will say that I should have known something was wrong that day when he missed his own loop.
No, we were doing the loop at Huck Jam nonstop.
Right.
So it was like that. Your loop was just perfect. It was perfect. Speed, and we had the hip thing. It was, and then we go there. Oh, like we'll film. The Wild Boys thing, no problem. And then the first time around, it just like it whipped me, and I came around. I was like, Tony, this is a little weird. Like, I remember we were like both.
Wait, the loop was not.
No, it's because now it's my loop.
We've been riding the Huck Jam loop, which was all machine made. It was perfect.
And then also the landing or the transition was
terrible.
Horrible.
Terrible.
Okay.
Horrible.
So it doesn't. So it was like didn't.
Yeah,
on
you
the
just
bottom,
like mess up, and then
so it doesn't give you the proper speed.
Yeah.
So we're trying
You're
to
looping
compensate.
out before the loop.
We're trying to compensate by pumping, and you don't pump.
Yeah.
So I see him bail, and that should have been my first warning sign. Like, Bob just missed his own loop. Yeah. But no.
You know what's a crazy story on that one? Is that right after you slammed, you're in the ambulance. I don't know if you remember this. But this cop showed up. Like, he just pulled up.
No, he came. Wait, I talked about that. He came to the.
He wanted to see if you wanted if I pushed you or something or something weird like
it was super weird.
See if you wanted to like sue me, like he's got your back. Then he's like, "Hey, can I get a photo with you?" He's in the ambulance, and this guy, and I was like,
"No, he came to the hospital."
Yeah, but at the
to do a report
afterwards
to see if you wanted to press charges against Bob,
Bob or
whoever,
or Wild Boys, Jackass, Wild Boys. Yeah. You're like, were they making you do something you were not comfortable doing? Yeah. I was like, what?
Yeah, like what? Where did you come from?
I'm pretty sure it was me that said monkey loop.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this is all your fault.
I remember him at the house because I kicked him out because once I realized he was doing that, first I was like, okay, and then I heard him, and then you're like, oh, get out of here. And I was like, dude, what? Just get out. I was like, I got him out of the house. Oh. So then after that, he went to the hospital.
He went to the hospital,
That's insane.
Wait, that was like one of my first visitors.
Wait, you overheard him say, did Bob push? Like,
because I realized he was trying to talk to him in the ambulance. And then Tony's like, man, no, he answered something. And then he's like, hey, take a photo with me. Like, since you didn't want to incriminate me, like, is a photo okay? Like, it was like that. And I was like,
yeah, but I didn't, dude, I was not.
You weren't.
I was not coherent in the
You weren't together, No. So I was just like, all right, you out of here.
That was the first time I felt pain. I remember them putting me in the ambulance.
Oh, to get,
That's what woke me up. I mean, I was
out of it, but I was out of it. I was
talking, and then when they get in the ambulance, the most intense pain I've ever felt in my hip, and I was like, ow. Something's wrong.
Yeah,
they go, oh, well, we x-ray that. And I was like, no, something is really wrong.
Yeah, man. No, that was insane.
Yeah, that was a bummer day. But he did come to visit.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy is like I went and did the full pipe loop. Because the image kept coming into my mind of your slam. And I was like, if I don't do this now, I'm going to like not want to do it.
Right.
And then I went to my full pipe and then did that.
Yeah.
And I remember I showed you the full pipe loop. And it wasn't like, oh, I got you. It was just like, dude, you made me, it was an inspiring thing. Like, let me get this out of the way.
Yeah, no,
I remember going up and doing the kick turn and like thinking like, oh, fucking Tony. Like, I was wanting to do it because it was just, And then
I get that though,
then
for sure, because you
Yeah.
would get scared straight. And it would just be like, oh, that can happen. I mean,
because I don't get traumatized by other people's slams much. You know,
Apparently not.
But you realize that it can happen, so it just kind of puts you in reality check. But the loop is different. Loop is different than mega, right? Loop is its own little corner that it's like
it is a
I think I did more loops than I should have.
Yeah, same.
Like from just doing the show, you had the idea.
We did almost.
You're the one who built it for the show, so
we did almost 30 shows, and
every day.
And he and I had to teach everyone how to do it.
Yeah, you're a good teacher.
And you wanted to do it in practice, and I was like, I'm not doing it in practice.
Yeah, he would run it cold turkey.
I was like, just do it when it's time.
That makes sense to me. I only did it once, but I feel like I don't need to practice. Like when I did do it, I didn't feel like it was athletically difficult.
No, but
it felt like it was.
Let me put it in perspective. We would go. So the ramp would get set up in an arena. Yeah. And it was ready to go by, I don't know, noon that day of the event. So we would all come in just to warm up, right? And then eventually you'd be like, all right, let's all do the loop so we can get it. This guy rolls in as we're doing like meanders in barefoot. As we're doing the loop, hasn't warmed up, hasn't skated the ramp, isn't going to do the loop with us. Because we're doing into the pads for the first few times. And then he's like, whoa. And we're like, cold turkey. He's like, yeah, man, cold turkey. Woo. And then go and rip it up.
I know I'm not naturally gifted, but that loop thing when I did it, because I did it wrong a bunch of times, I got hurt, and then I finally. Did you do it
in the back here?
I did it here.
When we had it inside.
Inside. Oh, sick.
But when I finally figured it out, I was like, it was just like, I think I did it in shock like 20 times. And then the one where I was like, because I whipped off and like really hurt my back and my wrist. And then I shoulder blocked leaning forward and hit the front. And I was like, okay, so do it in the middle. You know what I mean? Like, don't lean back, don't lean forward. I was pissed at this point because I was like, I've done every slam. And then when I made it, I was like, dude,
it sucks how easy it is.
It's not that hard.
Right? That's what it's like. Because it's like, okay, that was easy, but then it's not. Well, what could go down, but once you get it, it's like, okay, you got it. But until you do, you take a couple good slams, and it's like not really.
And then, but just one small,
one little
lean.
Yep.
Yeah.
And is tragic.
It's back in there.
I got it to a point where I was, because it was at the house for like 2002, like the King of Skate thing for like, I don't know, a year or so.
Yeah.
I did it every session.
You did?
Every time I skated vert, I go in. I just like be skating, and be like up, cross, drop in, do the loop, do a backside air, and then come through, and then keep skating. Like it was like, all right, it's there, you know.
How easily could you do it switch back then?
No, I just do it like regular, so just drop in. But like once, I did switch again at Huck Jam. Because that's when I was, because I wanted to do it every which way, because I think that your loop was spun. Mine was one way, and then I think yours was the other.
Oh. Mine's front side for me, backside for you. Same as yours.
Yeah, same as mine then.
Yeah.
But when was it set up? Because I did it like I did it backside, switch backside, front side, switch front side.
Tampa, right?
Yes. That's what it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the peak, near the end of the tour, we were just, loop was just do. I think my peak loop, like what you're saying, you used to do every session. Mine was I was skating the practice session, everyone was over it, and I went and did a whole line, and then as I popped out, I went.
You're right there on the
right at the loop and did late shove into the landing.
Right.
So I went like up the vert ramp, late shove into the roll into
and
the
you
loop.
were in, so then you went.
Yeah, and then I was like,
oh, it comboed into the loop.
That's my peak loop moment.
Yeah.
Dang.
That's as far as it goes.
Yeah, because after, I mean, but you can get it down. You're like, because your loop was like, just the speed was right, you know, and you go in, and there's like, once I realized it was like a hip thing, and I was just like, okay, once I was here, I'd throw myself there. Right. And then every time do that. And it was like, all right, that's that. But it's the constant over and over. If you were to, okay, let's go do the loop right now, I'd be like, wait, okay, mainly because you haven't done it in a while. I'm sure that it's like, if you try it long enough.
Yeah, you have to retrain. Well, I mean,
and it's have to be like.
Retrain what you know. Everything you know is gone.
Yeah.
But what I was going to ask you is, when you did that gap, did you know that was going to be switch originally?
No. I went to like a conference in Philadelphia for like Spiritism. Like some guys were like in town, they were translating these books, and I was just like, oh, I'm just gonna go out and have a meeting with these guys. And Tim and them were building the loop. And when I got back, it was spun the other way. And I told them to spin it that way because I wanted to do the gap, front side. And then it was like, no, it didn't fit that way, so we just went this way. I was like, but you had to, and then
oh my
shit.
God.
Okay.
I didn't know that. I think you just made it because it was your backside loop.
No, I wanted it to, because I built it to open the gap, right? From that whole idea for King of Skate. I was like, what if we, but in the beginning, the idea was like, say if I don't make the open loop.
That's so Tim Payne too.
Yeah, he's like, I just decided for you. Totally. But the idea was like, okay, if I can't do that, I can at least like do a nose grind on this bar, land on the thing, I wanted to do a combo, right? Like, so I had that. And then once I opened the loop, if I didn't make it, I at least have all that other stuff. So that was the plan. But so I wouldn't mind if it spun, backwards, backside, so that when it was switch, it was front side for me. And then that happened. I was like, well, okay, I'm not going to do it I'm not going to do a backside air. Like it just didn't felt right. Felt way awkward. And then it wasn't like, oh, switch is going to be easier. No, it was just like, it was front side spin, and that
looked like
what it is.
Such a battle.
Yeah, it was. It was one of the, and it was like, I mean, like all the cameras are there. Said you're going to do it. You open up the thing, and then I'm bailing every time on my leg the same time. I'd like put my leg down, spin, turn. Like put my leg down, spin, turn. My ankles were gone. And it was like, I can't. And then one of them, I kind of like, put it on the wall, and then it's worse. Then it's like,
because now
I know I have it, but I don't know if I have it in my body, and I don't know, and it was just like, I turned it on, and then finally it went down. But I had this thought of like, after that battle, I was like, I think a mega loop would have been easier. Like afterwards, I was already designing this like
definitely
bigger landing.
I've had those moments where it's like, well, why not just make it 10-foot transition? Just like,
well, it's just,
we're slamming hard before.
Yeah, and if you miss the mega loop, that'd be death, right? So it's like,
and also, there's a very specific place you land when the loop is our size that we've had, where where the pads can go.
Yes.
Once you make that twice as big, there's no telling where you're going to end up.
Yeah, that was my big thing. Yeah, easier, but if something goes wrong, right?
You're just ejected into space.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, who I had at the loop, which was, the pads were kind of off at one time, but I had this human pad, and I think you know who it is, Barry.
Yeah.
Yeah. As soon as I remember like seeing the footage, I was like, I'd go around and he'd like jump into to receive me if I slammed.
Oh yeah, Barry
he would like.
Yeah,
I was like, dude, that's incredible, man. But like, you don't have to do that. But I just thought that was just I'd never seen anyone like that. Like,
oh, he's gonna crawl out on the line.
Yeah, just the protector. Like always there, yeah. But I remember that because I saw footage. Who's that throwing himself?
Oh, we got to talk about is so it was funny in that tour because there was this big moment in the show where we only had half the loop up, right? The landing and the takeoff, and then the rest of it was flown into the ceiling, so you couldn't see it when you're in the crowd. And then we would lower it.
It was a surprise thing.
And as we're lowering it, we would show videos of loop slams.
Wow.
Right? Because it was like the big, and us talking about the theory of it. And
it was great to watch that right before we went.
I was going to say, right?
I never watched it. Yeah. I didn't watch it. And then they would put it in place, and then Thorne would stand on top of it, and then I would go, and then he would go, and then Bucky would go, and then Annie would go, and then Matt would go, and K-Rob would go, and then by like the fourth person, everyone's like,
it was like, okay.
Yeah, cool. That
looks
look
easy.
hard. But what was super fun was the very last night of that tour, the Loop tour, was Sergi and Lincoln.
I knew you were going to say it, Sergi.
Sergi and Lincoln.
Yeah.
Both came to practice and were like, we want to do it.
But they
want to learn it.
But they didn't do it in practice.
Yeah, they learned it in practice.
Okay.
They didn't. I don't know if either one.
No, they were going around like in the pads and stuff, but
So
they
they
didn't do it in the show. Like, and there was like a thing that they didn't touch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we all rallied around. They got the
in
technique.
the show was their first time to do it proper.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
And it made the show, that part of the show was the best one ever because they were visibly terrified.
Yeah.
And it took them a few tries.
Oh, wow. Wait.
Yeah.
They didn't slam.
Wait, but they fell off with no pads and...
Yeah, they just, you know how like when you come around, you shoulder block.
Yeah, like missed the pump or something, but it wasn't like a heavy slam. Yeah. Just like...
But it took them a few tries, so there was a build-up. Yeah. So it was like, oh, that was the best one.
Yeah.
And then I'm pretty sure it was Sergi. The one that Sergi made.
He slid four wheels.
The shuffle?
Speed checked, because he was starting to go down. He was starting to go off the edge, and he threw a little...
Totally.
And we all heard it.
No, and I remember, dude, that's funny because I have that in my mind. It's like, dude, Sergi did the...
Yeah, because everyone just kind of was like, did you hear what I heard?
Yeah.
There? Like, and man, I was going to go off the edge, so I had to redirect it. Like, dude.
The wobble at 12.
It was amazing.
Yeah. No, that was. And I think the loop, and that was the thing, because you show the video so that you can kind of get some of build up, and it's not us slamming live, so people to build up. It was like, okay, a little bit of video. But... it was. I think there was one that Bam also was trying.
Bam did it.
Yeah, and whenever that went down, it was like, okay. Then it was the because everyone else that did, we just wanted to do it and get it over with. So, but it was like, okay, that's easy. But if we get someone to try it for the first time,
I remember that one too because that was for a pre-Super Bowl special, right? So it was Fox.
Yes.
Fox recorded the show. We did a one-off show in Phoenix with the loop, and it was after I'd gotten hurt, so I was like, I'm not gonna, whatever.
Yeah,
let everyone else do it this time. But Bam came because Bam was like, I want to get the loop. I really want to do it. I'm like, okay, come do it. And the producer of the Super Bowl show was super excited to have Bam on it. So Bam starts trying it, and he's getting pretty close. And then that dude has no patience.
Yeah, it's over. He should be doing it right away.
All right, this is good. We're done with this. And I'm like, well, you might be, but he's going to do it.
What do you mean done with this? Done filming?
Yeah, it's like this section. Okay, we're done filming with this thing, and it on like
we're on to this other thing.
We're not going to film him actually make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's got enough footage of him trying it.
I had to pull him aside. I go, look, this is how it works. He's onto it. He is going to do this.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have that many tries. You know what I mean? Like you can't survive that many tries.
Yeah, you're not going to be skating this for an hour.
You have to let him do it. He's like, but we gotta get this timing. And I was like, well, he's going to do it. And then like 2 tries later, Bam did it.
Yeah. Wait, and he didn't film it?
They filmed it.
No, they filmed
it. But Bam shot it for his show.
Yes.
Okay.
That was kind of the rub, was like Bam was trying to get it for MTV and this guy was battling because he was doing it for Fox.
Okay.
And I was like, well, he's going to do it, and either you're going to have it on your show or it's only going to be live on Bam's show.
Right. It sounds like a Fox thing.
That was a super fun tour, man. I think it was so different, It's like moto jumping over the ramp, and then BMX, us interacting with everyone, like kind of, but in a fun, not a competition X Games.
We're there. Looking back, I can't believe that we did all of that every night, though. No, it really was.
And
it was a lot.
No, and hats off to you putting that whole thing together, man. It was just like, that was a huge operation. There was every stadium, where
it was crazy.
How many buses? I remember like we're in
14
trucks, buses, and then you'd show up into a town, and then they're building all night.
Yeah.
And then, we sleep wherever
we had to
buy.
We had to buy 2 lighting rigs because the lighting rigs took so long to put up that they would alternate lighting rigs.
Yeah,
so lighting rigs would be
insane.
here in Houston, this other one would be in Dallas, and the Houston one would go to San Antonio, and that one would go into Atlanta. It was like every day, and then there would be like 1-2 day, and then go back. You'd fly home, and then you'd fly back, and then go back. But I remember we reached our limit because we kept saying like, well, 3 shows in a row, like we got this. And then there was one week we did 4 shows in a row. Everyone was asleep during the during our break. Like
they're like, okay,
break.
we're
People
gonna
were
go
asleep
chill.
in the locker room.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's it. 4 shows we can't.
I remember 3 was like intense, but the 4th one.
Yeah.